In this video, I'm going to go over why men and women require variety. The reason, the evolutionary psychology reasoning why men and women require variety is to avoid incest. We humans evolved to be able to propagate healthier offsprings when we stay away from the same genetic makeup who are pheromonally familiar with us. And this is one of the primary reasons we require variety in a relationship. In this video, what I want to go over is why the requisite for variety exists and how you can facilitate it in your relationships in a healthy and loving way. I am Rone John. I am the open relationship expert. I'm from Las Vegas. I have the top Tantra therapy in Las Vegas. I am the head trainer at Great Relationships University with over 13 plus years of dating and relationships consulting experience. I want to go over the sponsor briefly before I go into the training. Our sponsor for this video is BlockFi. BlockFi is an incredible company, a very secure company where you can hold your dollars and your Bitcoin, and you can trade dollars into Bitcoin, you can buy Bitcoin, and you can also trade your Bitcoin into dollars, and you could also get a loan against your Bitcoin, so it's a non-taxable event. They just recently came out with a credit card with 1.5 cash back in Bitcoins. You get a $250 bonus by spending a certain amount on your credit card. If you want to sign up for that credit card, it's an amazing thing to get Bitcoin in return. Bitcoin is a top asset. I like to say that if you're holding dollars for no other reason, then you don't know where to save it. Save it in a high yielding thing. It's like a savings bank on an app on your phone, which gives you 6 to 8% return on whatever you invest in it, on your Bitcoin. So to learn more about that, go to the link in the description of this video. The training for today, let's begin with number 1. What is my agenda? What I want to talk about is number 1, what is the requisite for variety? Number 2, why it exists. Number 3, how you can facilitate it in a loving and happy way in your relationship. How you can facilitate a relationship that has variety in it and fulfills the requisite for variety for both individuals. I want you to pay attention to the reason I said both, and we'll go over that. Number 1 is, what is the requisite for variety? We evolved as humans to require variety because we humans propagate better, have much healthier offspring by not having offspring with family members, those who are familial. And what constitutes a family member are those we share the same genetic makeup with. The genetic makeup is too close, and the reason why that is, it's not because when you mate with your siblings that you immediately create a monster as the society has taught you, or you immediately create someone who is unhealthy or malnourished or malformed. The reason for that is because when you share an offspring with someone who is a family, someone who's too close of a genetic makeup as you do, there's a higher chance that you will share the same imperfect gene because you share the same genetic makeup. And the reason why we have a strong desire, we evolved a strong desire for someone who is not pheromonally familiar, is because our evolutionary makeup has recognized that there's a lesser and lesser chance that we share the same genetic makeup as that person, and therefore not sharing the same imperfect gene that might propagate into our offspring. So we humans evolved to require variety, and it facilitates itself in multiple ways. For the men, you will lose intensity in your relationship if the man only sleeps with one person. If man only has sex with one person. In fact, ladies, I want you to really pay attention to this, and men, pay attention to what I say about the women's requisite for variety. Never underestimate the women's requisite for variety. Now, ladies, don't take offense that men want lesser and lesser sex with you. It doesn't matter if you are a model, if you are in the hottest woman in the world. It doesn't matter whether you're a magazine cover or you're a supermodel. Because the man has had sex with you, pheromonally, it tells his brain that, wait a second, you've done this one already. Now you should be doing other women or other females. Because men have evolved, men and women evolved to require variety. And I'll show you how you can facilitate this better in your relationship, how you can facilitate in a happy, harmonious, and loving way. So you recognize that men lose their sexual intensity. The thing that bolsters up a man's sexual intense desire sexually for you as a woman is infatuation. There are three things that occur at the outset of every relationship. The infatuation is high. I call it three I's. The infatuation is high. The intensity is high. They want to have sex with you every single day, every day of the week, 5 times a week, whatever the case is. The intensity is high, but the thing that keeps the intimacy, which is how well you know the person, the thing that keeps that low and kept low is the infatuation. Infatuation is a hormone that drugs you so that you never see the person for who they are, which is what intimacy is. So as long as the infatuation is high, it keeps the intensity high, bolstered high, artificially high, and the intimacy lowered. Once that infatuation goes away, the chemically drugged state of your brain drugs you in, your intensity immediately drops. You have sex less and less, and in fact, you have sex 5 times a year. For most people, that's the case. And being in a relationship long enough, you'll recognize this. And the intimacy rises immediately. You know the person exactly for who they are. You know everything about them. Again, there are ways to keep that intensity high, the infatuation disappear, and the intimacy high as well. How do you keep them both high? Is my purpose of doing this video. So don't take offense that men, it's not that the man doesn't love you, and it's not that you're not hot and you're not desirable and you're not yummy. It's because once a man pheromonally recognizes you as familiar pheromonally is what it is to be family. Once you become essentially sibling, you sleep in the same bed, not because for sex, but because you sleep in the same bed because it's the only bed, or it's because you're going to sleep. Once you do that, once you get to that point, you're essentially siblings, and you're pheromonally family. The man's testosterone production will drop. And you have these cases of people who consider themselves as ineffective with their testosterone, who have low testosterone, who have low sexual desire, and they see themselves as having problems with their equipment, or they must have some kind of hormonal problems. But essentially the truth is, it's not them or it's not you. It's because they've considered you as family, siblings. They're pheromonally, nothing to do with you or him or his thinking or your thinking. His brain has recognized you as pheromonally familiar and will want to have lesser and lesser sex with you. Again, I'll go over how you can facilitate an open relationships and facilitate variety in your relationship so that this doesn't occur. And the intensity is kept high while the intimacy is high. For a woman, it facilitates itself in a different way. Because women have a cycle in their menstrual month, and 14 days before they have their menstruation, they have their ovulation. Ovulation in the animal world is what's referred to as estrus. And estrus is when the woman, 2 to 3 days out of her menstrual cycle, is when she has ovulation. And ovulation is when she is in heat. It's her mating season, 3 days out of the month, her menstrual cycle month. And 3 days out of the month, she looks for someone who is completely different from what she considers as family. Someone who is completely different from pheromonally familiar. She looks for someone who is different from her father, essentially genetically. And so 3 days, she finds herself, some women can't tell, and some women can. And a woman is familiar enough with her body, she will be able to tell that she is in ovulation. Women, I really hope you can communicate in the comment below and let the men know how true this is, because men won't believe me when I say this to them. It requires women validating this very fact. You, 3 days out of your cycle, you find yourself wanting more and more to dress sexier. You put on a red lipstick. You look at some people, some men, and you say, hey, I could do him. Oh, I could do him. Or I could do the both of them at the same time. And you say, what am I thinking? Why am I thinking in this way? Why am I dressing? Why do I have the desire to dress sexy? Why do I have this urge? It's because you're in heat. You're in your ovulation period where you are seeking out other men. And so men listening to this, don't take offense and don't never underestimate women's requisite for variety. So number 2, why this is the reason why we require variety. Number 3, how can you facilitate a relationship where it facilitates variety, facilitates the happiness, increase the intensity of your relationship? Number 1 is I want you to read a book. I want you to read a book. It's called Relationships 101 by Rone John. Forbidden Secrets of Love, Sex, Happiness, and the Male-Female Dynamic Explained. I want you to search for that on Amazon. Amazon Relationships 101 by Rone John, Ronejohn. And it'll explain more and more of how relationships have come to be and how you can solve it and how you can have better relationships by facilitating better relationships. And that book goes over how relationships have evolved over time. And it will give you a concrete knowledge about how relationships occur, why you have the mindset that you do about relationships, and a confidence about you in being able to explain this to other people, especially those whom you're attracted. And because everybody presumes that a relationship has got to be monogamous, it'll give you confidence on how to explain it. Or perhaps you could even give them the book. Essentially, the reason why I wrote the book. Number 2 is I want you to open your relationship, because the premise of open relationships is unconditional love. It doesn't mean open legs or open zipper or open doorknob. It means unconditional love. You're wanting for your beloved's happiness intrinsic to your own, and therefore facilitating an open communication style of relationship. Meaning, the meaning of open communication is there is no requisite, there is no need for you to hide anything from that person. You can be completely as you are, who you are, including and especially your requisite for variety. I can essentially go to my sweetie and say, hey, that girl is so cute. In fact, she is so cute, I'd love to take her to bed. Let me go get her number. And she can come up to me and say, hey baby, hey Rone, that guy is so goddamn sexy. He's really hot. I would love to take him to bed. In fact, I would love to just take him and his brother to bed. You know what? Let me go get his number. Wait, let me help you. This is what's referred to as open communication, your ability to be yourself, your primal self, and not have any judgment from the person and not being condemned for it. That is what an open relationship is. And to learn more about that, watch my videos or check out that book, Relationships 101 on Amazon by Rone John, Ronejohn. And number 3, your living quarters. I want you to live in separate quarters, or not live in separate quarters, but ideally live in separate quarters. But financially, that's hard to do. But in your living space, in your home, I would insist that you have separate bedrooms in which you sleep. It doesn't mean that you're not going to sleep together every night. It means that you don't have to be in the bed with that person if you don't want to. And the reason you know they're in bed with you is because they really want to be in bed with you at that time. And you're not having a bed because you're not sleeping in the same bed because it's the only bed. And you have a lesser likelihood of becoming pheromonally familiar. With the addition of being in an open relationship, it is A fantastic combination for having a healthy, happy, and variety fulfilling relationship. Share with me in the comments below what you think about that. And again, I want you to check out our sponsor for today, BlockFi. And I also want you to check out greatrelationshipsyou.com, an online course which gives you the skills and the management skills and the communication skills, social dynamic skills, and relationships management skills that you need. There's 12 plus hours of coaching, of video on demand lessons that will teach you all of those skills. Check that out, greatrelationshipsyou.com. Share with me in the comments below what you think about this, what you think about variety, and what you think about opening up your relationship and increasing its intensity while your intimacy is high and your infatuation is depleted. And share this comment below with others that would benefit from it, and also subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I'll talk to you on the next video tomorrow. Bye-bye.